Six U.S. Democratic presidential candidates took the stage in a contentious debate Wednesday night in Las Vegas. And as VOA's Michael Sullivan reports, the billionaire newcomer to the presidential race quickly became a target of sharp attacks from the other challengers in their first face-to-face encounter.
Bloomberg qualified for the NBC News debate after party officials eased the rules, and he placed second in a poll released Tuesday behind the frontrunner, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. A one-time Republican, Bloomberg has spent millions of dollars of his own money on advertising and drawn comparisons with President Donald Trump.
Democrats take a huge risk if we just substitute one arrogant billionaire for another. This country has worked for the rich for a long time and left everyone else in the dirt.
Bloomberg pointed to his background as a successful businessman and former New York mayor.
And I'm a philanthropist who didn't inherit his money, but made his money. And I'm spending that money to get rid of Donald Trump, the worst president we have ever had.
Former Vice President Joe Biden targeted Bloomberg over his crime-fighting policy in New York that targeted people in minority neighborhoods, called Stop and Frisk.
The policy was abhorrent, and it was, in fact, a violation of every right people have.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders was described as too far to the left to win the election by former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg, among others.
What we are trying finally to do is to give a voice to people who, after 45 years of work, are not making a nickel more than they did 45 years ago.
How to win the election? Senator Amy Klobuchar has an answer.
We could nominate a woman for candidate for President of the United States. I think that might go a long way if we showed our stuff as a party.
The Nevada caucuses will be Saturday, and the next debate in South Carolina next Tuesday. Mike O'Sullivan, VOA News, Los Angeles.
Now for more insight on Wednesday night's fiery Democratic debate, VOA's Carolyn Presutti joins me live from Las Vegas. Carolyn, what were the key takeaways from the debate where Michael Bloomberg was repeatedly attacked for his political record as the former mayor of New York?
You're right, Esther, and especially I like how you characterized it very fiery. It was the most contentious debate yet. The gloves are off for these candidates. They're going after each other. Many personal attacks, too. But as you said, Michael Bloomberg seemed to be the target of their attacks. Of course, it was his first time on the stage, almost like an introduction to the American voter. But he really came unprepared. It looked as if his campaign hadn't rehearsed the questions that they had to have known would be directed towards him. The stop and frisk procedure in New York, his accusations of misconduct by various women, also his $400 million ad campaign that he took out across the United States. They had to have known those would come up, but it just didn't seem like they rehearsed it with him. And typically these campaigns will go over the questions and over the questions over and over again so that the candidates can recite the answers in their sleep. That didn't appear to be the case. But also in his defense, you might add that he didn't even know that he qualified for the debate until the day before. So he didn't have much time. And it had been 10 or 11 years since he had ever taken the debate stage. But then again, he has to know he's one of the major players, and you must be prepared for everything if you are a presidential candidate in the United States.
Wow, what a scene there last night. But now, Caroline, who stood to lose the most in last night's debate?
Well, you would think the front runner, right? And it's definitely Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont. He, remember, tied for first place, we might say, in the Iowa debate because he got the popular vote, whereas Pete Buttigieg received the delegates. Then he won the New Hampshire debate, and he is certainly leading the way here. 28% of all voters have come out in favor of Bernie Sanders. But yet, he came away unscathed. It didn't seem like there were too many attacks directed toward him. There was one, though. Bernie Sanders had a heart attack in November of last year. The candidates were expected to ask him why he didn't release all of his medical records. He did address that, but then they quickly moved on to other issues.
Caroline, very briefly, where does the race go to after Saturday's caucus?
South Carolina, another very diverse state like here in Nevada, and we'll have another debate before that, and then we go to Super Tuesday. That's when you're going to see a narrowing down of the field, and some Democrats may then choose to throw their hat in the ring with another Democratic candidate who is leading the way. And Super Tuesday includes 14 states that will be either having primaries or caucuses. So that's March 3rd. That will be definitely a narrowing point for this campaign.
Wow, looking forward to a lot more before the presidential vote. All right, Caroline, thank you so much. VOA's Caroline Presutti reporting live from Las Vegas, Nevada.